What's up, duelists? If you guys didn't already know from the title of the video or from all the other people talking about it right now, Master Duel launched on Steam earlier today, and there was no announcements. There was no anything, no word from Konami. There wasn't even a game ready to be played. I mean, there was a maintenance screen for the majority of it. I don't know if you guys tried to play it or not, but you know, you saw the maintenance screens. You saw the memes. You know what's going on. All I can think, first impression, someone messed up somewhere. All right, because this game was not supposed to be released today. Usually with something this large and this big of a project, you're going to have some sort of hype building, some sort of release stuff to talk about it. Obviously, there's always the meme, like, oh, they released it early themselves to get people talking about it, to get the PR going. But in reality, it's so much worse if your game leaks and it's not ready to be played than if you just do like a natural marketing thing. Even though you are getting buzz behind your game, even though you are getting PR for free essentially, it's going to be a lot of people talking about a lot of the negative stuff that wasn't really fixed in your multi-million-dollar project. They probably just messed up. Which honestly is a little surprising given that Konami is the 9th biggest gaming company in the world. You think they'd have some sort of checks or some sort of stops on a major game release like something like this, but they just didn't, I suppose, which is kind of wild, but we're going to be able to get a first look here at Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. The first thing I want to talk about is this is 1000% a gacha game. If you guys don't know what a gacha game is, it's a type of video game that implements the toy vending machine mechanic. It basically just means that if you want to play the game, you're going to have to be gambling at some point in the process of getting the items or cards or whatever armor it is that you need in order to actually play the game. In the instance of Master Duel, that's going to be cards, and the form of gambling you're going to have to be doing is you're going to have to be cracking packs, trying to hit ultra rares, which you can convert into the specific ultra rares that you want. Thankfully, there's one mechanic in the game that's keeping it from becoming too much of a gacha game, which is the trade-in mechanic that Konami has implemented. Basically, you can convert your super rares or your ultra rares that you don't want into specific ones that you do want. And I think this is uncharacteristic of most gacha games, but also a really, really positive inclusion in general for competitive players who want to have 3 copies of the best ultra rares and not deal with a bunch of the jank ultra rares they've chosen to include in the game. The trade-in mechanic is pretty big, and I think that is a huge reason why a lot of people will be playing this game, as opposed to something like Dueling Book or yugioh Pro or one of the other mini emulators we have for Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. However, it still is going to try and separate you from a lot of your money, and they use a lot of different tactics to do that. I could go into detail and explain a lot of that stuff, but I could also show you a video from one of my favorite YouTubers called Atrioc. There's a link to that video in the description below. He talks about gacha games and gacha developers and how they try to basically milk you for money and turn you into like a human blood bank. It's very deceptive, but knowing what they're doing and knowing how to sort of choose for yourself what you want to commit to a game like this is an invaluable tool and can help you save some money or really get a better understanding of what's going on with these types of game mechanics. The second thing I want to comment on is that Master Duel is not available for Mac, which I think is fucking bullshit. I'm a Mac user, and yeah, I can just run Windows on Boot Camp, but it's a pain in the ass. Why is it available on every single console down to like Xbox 360 or whatever, but not available on like half the people using a computer right now? That's insane to me. Also, another thing that's a little bit weird is that if you're buying booster packs or buying stuff from buying their gems or their in-game currency or whatever it's called, it costs different on different consoles. Some consoles is more expensive, which doesn't make any sense at all, because I'm assuming if you log in from one account to a different place, you'll still have all of the same cards. So naturally, this would encourage you to not download a game on a certain platform if it costs more. I don't understand this. In terms of gameplay, we're getting a lot of the questions answered that maybe we were itching at. The first thing is obviously the ban list. Now, the ban list is really weird. The one that we're seeing as of right now, this might just be a release thing. This might just be something they haven't finished fixing. It's a combination of the TCG and the OCG ban list. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to play older formats as of right now. Also, in addition to having not a real ban list, it's played in best of one, which, as you know, is a trash format for this game. It is terrible. Going first and going second have massive implications in Yu-Gi-Oh! They completely dictate how you build your deck and how you play the game. Only getting a chance to do 1 out of 2 of those things completely changes how we play the game. I know in the OCG, they already have best of 1 tournaments. I think it might even be their main format. I'm not really sure. But in the TCG, this is just not how things are done. We've always had sideboarding. We've always had this sort of counterplay where, you know, maybe you lose game 1 because you went second, had a rough hand. But at least you get another game to try and redeem yourself, and then you get another shot at a good hand going second in the 3rd game. I think best of 1 introduces way too much variance in gameplay and heavily favors FTK and combo decks, as well as floodgate and lockout uninteractive decks. But there are some interesting settings in the options menu that lead me to believe that maybe somewhere down the road, we will be able to play older or more simplified formats. In the gameplay options, there's a few things that a lot of people were maybe concerned about. You can toggle animations. You can also toggle response windows or priority passing, which I think is pretty cool. It allows you to either bluff having responses or fake your opponent out and play an information game that way. Also, toggling animations is just going to save a ton of time for the average player. But the thing in the options that leads me to believe we'll eventually get older formats, maybe somewhere down the road, is that they allow you to switch off automatically choosing your zones. In current format, there's literally no reason to switch this off. It is optimal to always pick your zones. Why else would they have this sort of option here available if they didn't intend to include at least 1 or 2 different game modes that maybe choosing your zones doesn't matter nearly as much? There's a few other cool little things. You can add your Konami account and follow players that you like, watch their games, etc., see when they're online, kind of like a social media thing. I think that's pretty cool, especially because it kind of puts the eye on stronger players and people who may be trying to be professional with the game long term. It gives them and their followers a way to sort of in real time see what they're doing, keep up to date with them. I think that's pretty dope. There's certainly a lot of stuff here that could be the makings of a good game, maybe somewhere down the line. But to me, the biggest issue, I think, is that the ban list is not a real ban list when compared to both paper formats. So it doesn't equate 1-to-1 with anything. Obviously, the maintenance stuff and the launch of the game was a huge mess. The gacha mechanics I'm not a big fan of, but as long as they keep the card exchange, I don't think it's too bad. The pull rates appear to be pretty trash. You can get packs with no super rare and no ultra rare, or you can get packs with multiple ultra rares. I'm pretty sure the majority of packs will just have rares and commons only. And a lot of cards that you maybe are used to being common in paper have been bumped up in rarity from common or rare to super rare or ultra rare, or even higher. Now, of course, a lot of this stuff probably can change. I'm not exactly sure. Again, no one is because we didn't get any official announcements whether or not Konami intends on changing any of this stuff. But as of right now, we can really only cross our fingers and hope. If this ends up being the final finished product for Master Duel and they don't end up adding a TCG equivalent format to it, I probably won't be playing it as much as I honestly intended to. In a perfect world, we'd get old formats, we'd get TCG equivalent with best of 3 sideboarding, we'd get OCG equivalent, best of 1 games, we'd get speed duels, we'd get the works, we'd get a fun storyline. But clearly we're not living in the optimal world. We're living in a world where a multi-billion-dollar corporation, the 9th largest gaming company in the world, can accidentally release a game well before it's even clearly ready to be played by the majority of its fan base. Anyway, this is just a quick first glance at Master Duel. I'm making this video real quick in the middle of the night. So if there's anything else I'm missing or that you guys noticed that was particularly whack about Master Duel or particularly good that you are excited about, let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. More Edison content coming soon. Peace out, everyone.